the online students, can you hear me? Am I audible to you? Can you hear me? Am I audible to you? No response from A. I don't know whether he can hear me. I don't know whether he can hear or not for them. So no any response from that end. So I assume he can hear, he or she. Then no problem. So hope he can hear me, so I will continue, right? Okay.
Yes, madam, yes.
Thank you for the response. Okay. So in operations management assessment portfolio for that, we can find two components. One is individual assignment, and the second one is group assignment, right? But I was explaining, I have uploaded them today, but it's not visible to you all, right? So next week onwards, I will make available those two assignments. Then you all can start work on. I mean, like you all can start to do the assignments. Then you all have more time with it. You all have time. I mean, like if you can consider the deadline, you all have more time. But I have decided to upload them a little bit early. Then you all can start and continue with the assignments. You don't need to wait till the last moment, right? So in group assignment today, I will give you the instructions later on. For the group assignment, the percentage is 10%, right? Sorry, not the group assignment. For the individual assignment, it's 10%, right? The percentage wise, the allocation is 10%. And for the group assignment, it's 30%. For the group presentation, 20%. Group report, 20%. Group presentation, 10%. You all need to develop a report based on the instructions that I have given in the assignment guideline. And for the report today, it's 20%, and for the presentation, it's 10%. Right? Altogether, 40%. That means when it comes to the final grade today, 40% from the assignments and 60% from the ESE, end semester examination. Right? So that's how it's going on. Next week, I will give you the instructions related to individual assignment and the group assignment, right? So yes, basically, those are the things that I want to explain in relation to the background of operations management and the assignment, operations management module. Do you need to clarify anything for that? If we are in first week, if you want to ask any question, just ask will you. Simply, this is a 3-credit assigned subject. Then for the examination, you all will get a 3 hours paper. And in the assessment portfolio, you all have 2 assignments. One is the individual assignment, 10% allocated for the individual assignment, and other component is group assignment. It's 30%, 10% for the presentation, group presentation, 20% for the group report. Right? Then let me take you through the topics for that. Here, as I explained, as I mentioned today, there are altogether 12 chapters to be, right? First one is Introduction to Operations Management. Within today, we can complete it. We are going to have an introduction to the operational management. We discuss basic concepts, fundamental things that you should know in operations management today, right? The second chapter is about product and service design, right? It is also good, like if I consider these calculations and the theories, product and service design, it's more towards theories today. It's a theoretical topic. Then if we consider chapter number 3, strategic capacity planning for products and services, capacity planning, right? We have theories, we have calculations, right? Then 4th chapter, process selection and facility layout, same with the theory plus calculations, right? So there's a calculation called assembly line balancing. Definitely there will be a question from assembly line balancing, and average I'm allocating 10 to 12 marks for that question as a line balancing. It's a calculation, right? Then fifth chapter is work design and measurement. It's totally a theoretical based chapter. The location planning and analysis, again for the theory plus calculations. Then management of quality and quality control, theoretical chapter. Planning and master scheduling, theory plus calculations. MRP and ERP theory. We are discussing different concepts. Then inventory management, theory plus calculations. JIT and lean operations, and the last chapter, supply chain management, theoretical based chapter. Right? So basically, there are certain chapters for that. We do calculations, right? If we consider those calculations for that, if you go through the past papers, you all can realize this point. I'm allocating a significant mark, right? If you can capture the calculations for that means you can assume a good mark in the examination paper, right? For example, if we consider location planning, right? So we do some calculations. Average, I'm allocating 8 to 10 marks, right? Assembly line balancing question also 10 marks average, right? Then aggregate planning calculations are there, again average 10 marks. So if you can capture the calculations, right? So then you can achieve a good mark. So you need to clarify anything regarding these chapters for this. If not, we can move on to the chapter number 1. We can have the discussion. So we can start the discussion on chapter number 1. If you need to clarify anything regarding the settlement portfolio or the chapter, so any kind of a thing with it, just ask with you, then we'll clarify. Then we can start the discussion on chapter number 1. Basically, those are the things that you all should know related to that. If you want to clarify anything further, just contact me, then I will provide you the clarifications. For the time being, I guess this is sufficient, right? Okay. Follow on or sufficient here, pay attention. We will take an expression like I thought like acknowledging, yes, here. Right, okay. So today, first chapter is about introduction to operations management. Right? So I just see you come with what I saying right, okay. So let me open this slide set first. I cannot find the receiving mode. Just the temperature, right? Right, okay. Now you have to stop talking for them. Okay? The first chapter is introduction to operations. So here we are going to discuss fundamental things, so the basic things related to operations management. Right? So we are going to learn what is operation, what is an operation, Then what is operations management? The source of operations. Then the contemporary influences related to this operations management. We are going to discuss very basic things related to operations management. The first thing that you all should understand is when we consider this operations management, it is not something only related to manufacturing sector organization. Right? It's a misunderstanding. I mean, like, if we consider operations management, it is more or less important to both sectors, the manufacturing and the service sector. Right? So then, if I ask you, what is an operation? What would be your answer to that? How we are going to explain? Okay, this is operation. So what is meant by operation? The operations, if we consider the sub-campus, right? This is in the service sector, right? Sub-campus provides the service, right? Even here also, we can find different types of operations, right? From student registration to this lecture delivery, right? So there are like number of operations which are happening within this campus, right? So if we consider organizations like apparel manufacturing companies, right? Yes, they do have again number of operations, right? If we consider campus, so then student registration, right? This lecture delivery, then the marketing activities, examination activities, all these things are examples of operation, right? Then, what is meant by operation? What is an operation? Like, okay, good. It makes sense for that. I cannot say it's fully correct, but it makes sense, right? So, simply put it, because these processes in the sense that it's one part of the definition of operations, right? Correct. Usually with this, imagine. So consider your work organizations, right? There are like certain operations. Simple meaning of operation is routine tasks, activities, and processes. Because within a process, we can find different activities, tasks. Right? Process consists different operations, different activities, different tasks. Right? So very simply, we can define operation is a collection of routine tasks, activities, and different processes. Importantly, those tasks, activities target the delivering the product to the end consumer. And from that, companies are trying to generate a revenue. Right? That's why they involve in this operation. Right? Collection of routine tasks and activities, different types of activities, tasks, and we can consider processes also targeting producing a particular product, and from that they try to generate a revenue. Right? So simply that is an operation. Right? In OM here and there I'm giving you some notes. Right? It's not a compulsory thing to write down the note, right? Because you all are adults and you all can decide whether you all are going to maintain a note or not, right? So it's up to you, but usually I'm giving a note. I'm highlighting some, I mean, like when I'm explaining different data, I'm highlighting this is important for the examination and I'm asking you all to put remarks, right? So in that case, you maintain a note, right? But again, I'm telling, so it's up to you to decide whether you are going to maintain or not. So, but if I feel it's important to give a note, then I'm asking you to write down a note, right? So in that case, better to maintain a note. You don't need to have a particular book for OM. At least some papers, or kind of any kind of thing you can use. Even digital devices also. I mean, like from mine, I can allow, right? No problem. Anyhow, maintain a note, right? So write down chapter number 1 to this. Chapter number 1, Introduction to Operations Management. Then write down the subtopic. Chapter 1, Introduction to Operations Management. Right? Then under that write down the subtopic, Operations. Then I can say, it is the collection of, when you are writing, try to understand the meaning also. It is the collection of routine tasks activities and processes that an organization uses the product to the full stop. At the end of organization try to generate organizations try to generate a revenue. At the end of all these processes, organizations try to generate a revenue. Right? Okay. Then carefully listen and tell me whether we can find a difference between these two. There's something called production management. Right? So there's something called production management. So now we talk about operations management. What do you think of it? Are these two terms the same or not? Can we find a difference between production management and operations management? Same or not? Production management, operations management. What do you think of this? This one. Correct. Good. So then, that is correct. If we consider production management and operations management, when we critically analyze the scope of production management and the operations management, we can find differences with it. Correct. Then, what is production management? What is the main difference to the right? I mean, there are certain differences. What is production management? What is production management? Then we see what is operation management. Production management focuses on what? You are telling it's different. Production management and operations management, two different things. So then, what is the main focus area of production management? Only production. Okay, correct. Only production in this is giving an example. Correct. The answer is correct. The cost related figures. So they monitor on the cost efficiency. Quality then. Quality comes under what? Is another kind of a thing which is coming under production.
Everything includes the quality and time, the cost, and the usability, all the things comes under production.
Production management. In operations management. What you are mentioning here is production management only focuses on the production of a product. I mean, like producing the products. It can be a service, it can be a good. I will explain this later. So producing a product. When I am talking, you all cannot talk. When I am not talking, you all can talk. Why do I like to ask people and not answer that? When I am talking, you all cannot talk. Right? So here would they, as well correctly mentioned, production management would it's like focuses only the conversion process of the product, right? If we consider a system, it includes inputs, conversion process, and the outputs. If we consider this production management, it mainly focuses on the conversion process of it, right? It won't consider, it's not considering about the inputs and other decisions related to these inputs, right? And the outputs, right? Mainly focuses on the conversion process, right? Production part. But in operations management, we consider even location plan, right? Then the whole supply chain management. Right? If we consider supply chain management also, it's a complex and significant area, right? That is also coming under operations management. Then if we consider capacity planning, production capacity planning, right? That is also coming under operations management. Then what else? If we consider then this demand and aggregate planning, coming under operations management. These planning things are inputs. So these are existing in the scope of operations management, right? Then if we consider another thing with the inventory management, right? Again, it comes under operations management, right? So basically, if we consider the scope of these two things, production management and operations management, scope of operations management is compared to the production management, it's broader. Okay. So then what do you think about what is operations management? So you all will simply tell it's about managing operations. It's about managing this routine tasks and activities which focuses on delivering the product. Actually, correct, right? You know the definition of management. So I'm going to like explain very in a very simple way. I'm going to explain what is operations management. For that, I want to see whether you all know the definition of management. Okay. Can you remember management definition? How we have defined management? Management is very good. Planning, organizing, leading, and control, right? So we define management as the process of planning, organizing, leading, and controlling organizational activities and resources in an efficient and effective way to achieve organizational objectives. That's how we have defined management. Simply, we can apply this definition for the operations management. Right? We can mention operations management is the process of planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Here, not all the organizational activities will there. Operational resources and operational activities in an efficient and effective way to achieve operational objectives. Right? It's just a matter of substituting these operations to the management definition, right? So shall we have a quick definition for operations management? Write down the subtopic with operations management. Write down. It is the process of. It is the process of. It's the process of. Organizing. Leading. And controlling. Organizing, leading, and controlling. Operational is resources. Operational activities and resources. Operational activities. Efficient and effective way to an efficient and effective way to achieve operational objectives. Operational objectives. So let me explain what are these operational objectives. Right? Let me ask this question. What is the ultimate objective of a business organization? If you consider any type of a business organization, it's sector organization, it can be manufacturing sector organization, regardless of the industry or the sector. What is the ultimate objective of a business organization? They have different objectives today, right? But if we analyze the ultimate objective, that is profit maximization. Right? Profit. So then we need like profit in the sense the gap between revenue and expenses. Right? So if the organization wants to increase this profit, right? So they have two options. Right? They have two options. One is they can take necessary strategies or necessary actions to reduce the expenses of the cost. Or else they have to take or formulate strategies to increase the revenue. Right? So then, because with the technology they can achieve competitive advantages, then only they can compete over the competitors so that they can attract more customers and they can earn more profits. Right? So then, in operations management also, they always focus on, if we consider the operations management scope, right? It always focuses on this ultimate objective of the company, that is profit maximization, right? And they always, the responsible parties towards this operations management or the managing operations, they always focus on achieving competitive advantage, right? How to perform over the company. In that particular situation, in this scenario, always they prioritize four things, right? One thing is cost, right? Cost efficiency, to reduce the cost. Then they always prioritize quality, right? They pay more attention for the flexibility of their operations. And there's another key area they focus on speed of their production delivery. Speed, right? So if they can go for a higher cost efficiency, if they can achieve higher level of quality, if they can maintain, if they can enhance their flexibility, and if they can have a good speed or if they can speed up their production delivery with it, through those four things, they can achieve competitive advantage. And they can basically contribute to the company's final objective, that is profit maximization, right? So here, mainly within operations management, they focus on 4 areas. They focus on 4 objectives. One is increase the cost efficiency. That means reduce the cost. ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඔක තමයි අතෙන්ම කරන්නේ operations management එක try කරන මොන තරම් cost එක minimize කරන්න, right? Reduce the cost to enhance the quality or improve the quality, then enhance the flexibility of their operations, because if they can maintain good flexibility, they can change their production systems and everything according to the environmental changes and according to the market requirements. Then they always try to speed up their production process, right? So we write on these 4 objectives. So here you have mentioned to achieve operational objectives, underlying operational objectives, and put a small arrow and write on these 4. Operational objectives underline the for the arrow එකක් පල්ලෙහාට දාලා ඉතින් මේ හතර ලියා ගන්න වෙනවා. Objectives of OM, you don't need to write down such. I mean, like, you don't need to write down a separate topic. Underline operations management, and under that write down not operations management, objectives of operations management, and under that write down these 4. Efficiently, to achieve operational objectives. So write down first one, to increase cost efficiency. Increase cost efficiency. Second one, to improve the quality. To improve the quality of product and processes. To improve the quality of product and processes. Then third one, to enhance the flexibility. To enhance the flexibility. Then final one, to speed up the production delivery. To speed up the production or the production delivery. Okay. Then, if I ask from you, what is the strategic importance of operations management? Right? My question is, according to your understanding, according to your perception, what is the strategic importance of operations management? What do you think? What is the strategy? What is the meaning of strategy? So in almost all the chapters are learning this term, the strategy. Right? So what is the strategy? Is it strategy? What is meant by strategy? Marketing strategies are there, production strategies are there, then finance strategies, right? There are different strategies. What is the meaning of strategy? No idea. So, how we can achieve objectives? When there are objectives, right? So then we should know the way of achieving objectives. So how we can achieve objectives? I mean, like, if you give the answer to that question, then you all can define what is strategy. That's why I'm asking. Isn't it? That's why I tell you. True? You all have to like because this 12-3 is always really hard to conduct lectures after the lunch, right? So today first chapter we have to discuss about the concepts and the basic things, right? We cannot do calculations also in first chapter. There are no calculations. So I can understand what situation also to explain hard to them. Right? I can understand your situation, but still you all need to interact with me with it. Right? So when you are giving answers, when we can have discussions, then all of you can learn more with it. What is the meaning of strategy? What is meant by strategy? Basically, very good. A strategy in the sense, a way, different ways of achieving objectives. Right? Simply, meaning of strategy. If we apply this to this organizational context of the corporate sector with it, that is also the same, right? So, strategy in the sense, different ways that we use to achieve objectives. Objectives ටික achieve කරගන්න හදාගන්න එක ඉදිරියට තමයි strategy කියලා කියන්නේ, right? So, correct with it. The answer is probably correct, right? So then, if someone asks from you, what is the strategic importance of operations management? Always you need to highlight how this operations management contributes to achieve competitive advantage. From the strategies, always organizations try to achieve competitive advantage. Right? They try to implement, they try to formulate and they try to implement those strategies, and through that they try to attract more customers. They try to basically compete over the competitors. They try to sustain in the market. Okay? So then, in operations management, right, if we highlight the strategic importance of operations management, again, we can focus on those four with it, right? Because if an organization can achieve high level of cost efficiency, if an organization can enhance the quality of their product, if they can maintain a good speed in their production processes, and if their production processes and the operations are flexible, right? Definitely with that, they can achieve competitive advantages. Through obtaining these competitive advantages, they can maximize the profit. මොකක් හරි දෙයක් අපිට strategically important කියලා කියනකොට එතන we have to highlight how those things support the organization to achieve competitive advantage, right? And at the end, how those things support the organization to achieve their ultimate objective. Okay, so write down. You don't need to write down a subtopic. Write down strategic importance of operations management and put a small dash. Strategic importance of operations management. Item we have strategic importance of operations management with the dash. Write down. Write down this flow. Rather giving a paragraph from this flow, you can easily understand it. Item this it shows the way of achieving competitive advantages and the profit maximization. Simply that is the strategic forms of operations management. Let's see what they I have question on this. Please. Coordinator, he can catch. Example, say just imagine that question. Now pay attention in the examination, right? So that's a question. The question is, briefly explain the strategic importance of operations management. Right? So then the mark allocation is 6 marks. Briefly explain the strategic importance of operations management. Then you can use this diagram for this. So basically you need to mention in operations management, always they prioritize cost efficiency, quality enhancement, then the speed of delivery as well as flexibility. So when an organization prioritizes these 4 areas, then it supports the organization to achieve competitive advantage, right? So it shows them a direction to compete over the competitor. So when an organization can perform over the competitors, when they can achieve competitive advantages, the organization can maximize its profit. Right? That's how you have to provide the answer. You need to take first the 4 objectives of operations management, right? So then you need to show those 4 objectives are contributing or supporting to achieve competitive advantages. You can explain an example also, but you can mention, for example, when the organization is always focused on continuous improvements to enhance the quality, they engage with R&D, research and development, and they produce unique products, right? So when the product quality and when they produce quality products, it supports the organization to achieve competitive advantage. When the organization can achieve competitive advantages, at the end of all these things, the organization can maximize the profit. Right? With cost efficiency, prioritize other hand, like when it comes to operations management, when it focuses on cost efficiency, always they try to reduce the cost. So then they try to always come up with different strategies to reduce the cost, right? To enhance or to increase the cost efficiency. So then what will happen when they always focus on cost efficiency, right? They can reduce the overall cost of production, right? There can be some situations for them. If they can minimize the cost of their production, then they can give that cost benefit to the customer. They can sell the product at a minimum price, so that they can attract more customers. That means they can achieve competitive advantages. They can increase the revenue of the company. They can increase the overall of the I think example right? So simply put a remark with it. This strategic importance management can be right. So you have to have your own answer to highlight to show the strategic importance of operations management. Right? If you go to the past papers also today, so in some papers you can find this question. Okay. Then let me take you to the next slide. Okay. The organization, different functions, different functional departments, right? Finance, accounting, HR, operations also looking at the main functional area, right? Operations management. Sometimes they don't have a separate department for operations management. There can be department called production management, right? So it's another functional main area, right? We mentioned that we take operations. One of the 4 functions of, let me explain like this. So when we strategic importance. When we discuss normal or the general importance of operations management, we discuss different things. I will show you them in the next slide. Right? So there we highlight operations management is one of the core functions in an organization. Right? When we are discussing the general or the importance of operations management on the strategic importance, we highlight that we tell operations is a core function, one of the core functions of an organization. Why it becomes a core function? Core කියන්නේ පුතේ ඒක තමයි ඒක මූලිකම එක. Why it's core? One of the core functions. What do you think? If we consider organization, right? As I previously mentioned, as you all know, there are different departments, right? Finance, accounting, IT, HR, right? And operations management also there. Production or operations management also there. Imagine today, the operations or the operation department mainly focuses on delivering a good or a service in delivering a product. Right? That is their primary responsibility. Right? Deliver an effective product to the market. Right? If they don't have operations for them, right, then they don't have a product to sell in the market. If they don't engage with operations, and if they don't manage operations, then they don't have a product to sell in the market. When they don't have a product to sell in the market, no point of just keeping finance departments, HR departments, or the accounting department, right? In order to finance, in order to prepare financial reports, in order to proceed with accounting, so in order to manage human resources, right? So they need to have a product with it. If they don't proceed with production, right? If they don't focus on operations, then they don't have a product to sell. Then no point of like just keeping other department also. Right? So we in that it's one way of rationalizing this point. There are different ways, right? So with that understanding, we can say operation is one of the core functions in organization, right? Let me show you the general importance or some important points related to operations management, and those 4 points are also again important for the examination. Let me show you. I will give you a few minutes to read them, then I will explain. So I'm not going to discuss the difference between goods and services, right? Very easy to understand within the examination. I don't check, right? What is the difference between goods and services, right? So, but I want to highlight this today. If we consider the term product, right? Product in Sinhala we refer it as nishpaditena today. Product consists both good and services, right? Product is not always about the good, right? In order to interpret service also, sometimes we use the term product. Product කියන එක ඇතුලේ පොතේ goods උත් තියෙනවා services උත් තියෙනවා, right? So in that case, product consists both goods and services, right? And if we consider terms like manufacturing, producing, right? We don't use the term manufacturing for the services, right? We mention organizations manufacture goods. We don't say organizations manufacture services. But we say organizations produce services. Right? Those differences also they are put in, right? So those are for your information, right? Take 2 minutes and read these 4 points. I have asked you to read with it. Read with you. The first one is ensure the sustainability of the business through developing and producing products in the sense with the goods and services in an efficient and effective way. Right? That is true. Because always operations management focuses on efficiency and effectiveness. What is efficiency and what is effectiveness? Can we find the difference between efficiency and effectiveness? Yes. Then what is the difference between efficiency and effectiveness? Efficiency means cost reduction. Very good. Like we try to take maximum output by utilizing minimum resources, minimum inputs. That means we try to reduce the cost. Correct. Good. Effectiveness. That means like we try to do the things the right way. Right? If we are doing the things the right way, then we can reduce the cost. Right? Efficiency in the sense doing the things right way or taking the maximum output by utilizing minimum inputs of the minimum resources. Correct. Effectiveness. Effectiveness. Effectiveness in the sense that doing the right thing. Hari way, right? Efficiency in the sense doing the things the right way. And it's about right ways, right? Effectiveness in the sense do the right thing. Okay? There can be some organizations so that their efficiency rate is really high, but the effectiveness is really low, right? There can be some organizations so that they produce, like when they get a target, right? Imagine so they need to produce some number of units, right? So efficiency wise, they're really good. Okay, if we consider 8 hours, sometimes they produce 1,500 units, right? By utilizing that given resource. But at the end of the day, right? If we can find lots of defects and if they have not delivered the correct output, no point of like achieving targets. They have not done the right thing, right? So then, if an organization wants to achieve its profit, so they focus on these two areas, efficiency and effectiveness. Operations management, why not today? Always prioritizes efficiency and effectiveness. If an organization can run their operations in an efficient and effective way, it ensures the sustainability of the organization. Right? So that is true with it. Then the second point, it helps identify root causes of issues in the processes. Again, correct with it because in operations management, always they try to engage with continuous improvements. Continuous improvements project always focus on identifying issues, especially for the not just identifying issues, try to figure out the root cause, reason for the issue. Right? Because always we need to minimize the cost, right? If there are problems, if there are issues, then they cannot they expect the level of quality. In order to address all these objectives, they capture a particular phase and they need to figure out the root cause, the reason behind the problem. Right? So that is also happening on operation. It identifies it and takes strategic decisions in terms of cost and quality of products and services. We have discussed it. And the last one also we have discussed, since it is the core function of any business, so without production or without operations, but they cannot survive in the market. So if they don't have operation and they don't have production, so then it will create a question mark regarding the survivalness of the organization. If an organization wants to survive and sustain in a market, in an industry, they need to have this operations and operations management, right? So those are kind of four main importance of operations management. Right now, over there, so the examination can be tested. Try to use your own words, right? Don't write down the same thing. I mean, in your notes also take the meaning and write in your own way. Importance of operations management. Of course, reasons for the issues, reasons for the problem. If you feel that you are writing the same thing today, then at least write on the slide number, right? So when you are writing, if you feel that you are writing the same point which is included in the slide, right, then no point in it. But I recommend own method. Then write down the slide number. But if you can write down these 4 points in your own words, then it's better. Because for the examination, when I'm asking the question, so then you have to use your own words. Take the lead and write down the 4 points. Yes. Right, okay. So with this, I will give you the breaks. After the break, there are only few areas to be discussed. Today's first chapter. So after the break, take a break and come. Do you need this slide today? You're not liking it. So I will give you 2 minutes and complete it. Understand your perspective. Oh, yeah. Okay, can you hear me now? What is this good name? Mahesh, am I audible to you now? That's fine, but what he's saying is can't hear. That's fine, I will share the screen. Right, thank you so much. So, what I was explaining, when it comes to this field of operations management, we can find out contemporary influences. One is globalization, right? Then you all need to think how it becomes a contemporary influence, how it is impacts on operations management. Globalization. especially for that, for example, especially when it comes to these manufacturing sector organizations, in the early stages with it, they had to rely on local suppliers, right? But with the globalization, now organizations do not need to rely on local suppliers. If they can have the raw materials at a lower price from foreign other, basically foreign suppliers for it, so they can import those raw materials from foreign countries, right? Then it creates a significant impact on the overall cost of the production, right? So in that way, there are certain temporary influences. Right? So here I'm not going to discuss this historical evolution of operations management for the examination. Also, I don't check. I have included it only for your information, right? So if we consider operations management, there are key milestones with it, right? So, for example, if we consider this industrial revolution, right? With the industrial revolution, organizations started to produce in large scale. So with that, organization, they have implemented the job specialization, division of labor. Those things are still evident or still applicable for the organization, right? For example, industrial engineering, that is also a kind of if we consider industrial revolution, right? This industrial engineering. We'll discuss them in upcoming chapters, the IP or the work study. Those are outcomes of this industrial revolution. Still, those things are happening and still those things are applicable in operations management, right? So I don't go through these key milestones, right? This is for your information. Just take 5 to 10 minutes and read them. For the examination, I don't check, right? This is also very easy to understand today, right? Main responsibilities of an operations manager, right? I don't check them. Take 1 minute and quickly read for it. That is also only for your information, right? Yes. These are the skills required for operations manager. These are some contemporary influences on operations management. First one is globalization. It's not in this slide today, right? Then supply chain partnering, that means vertical integration, right? Vertical integration is a sense. Now most of the manufacturing companies acquire because when they have now organizations try to produce the product at a lower cost and they try to deliver the product at a lower price, but then only they can easily achieve stability. Reduce the cost of the product, they need to lower price. Right? They have suppliers. Right? If the company has SBU, strategic business units, to get the supply of those raw materials, right? Get those raw materials at a minimum price, and then they can massive, right? But integration, supply entity would integrate, right? Manufacturing company, suppliers are acquired, vertical integration, right? So then sustainability initiative, green concepts, right? Most of the organizations try to apply these green concepts for them, especially they think about energy saving. So they go with these solar panel installations and all. Great, you can understand the points. Once you finish reading, write down the subtopic contemporary influence on operations management and write down maybe 5 points which you feel easy to recall. For the examination can be tested. First finish reading. There can be some students today who are not familiar with team operations. Right? That term can be a new term to you. Don't worry, we are going to learn in detail in operations in later. In operations, in the sense that they try to eliminate waste from the organization. But you can set a mainly focused on waste. They try to eliminate 8 types of waste from their production process. In lean. Elimination of waste. Another point you can understand. So write down any 5 points which you feel easy to recall. For the examination can be tested. Starting with organization. Don't write down the first 5 minutes. First read the list. Then try to write down any 5 without looking at the slide. Because now customers are really informed. Example, so they need to maintain good relationships with the stakeholders. Like, okay. So let me show you a video for that. Why? The rationality behind showing this video, right? I want to show you the complexity in operations manage operations today, right? Especially if you consider companies like Canada and also today. In those organizations, we can find number of operations, right? Even we cannot imagine, right? There can be sometimes 100,000 of operations. Sometimes it's more than 100,000 of operations, right? So attention to detail is very important as well as managing operation or operations is not easy, but it's very complex. And very critical. Let me show you this video. Not loading, right? So we watch the video next week. I will try to take the attendance, right? It's not loading.